In the immortal words of Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility. And with nearly a quarter of the world's population now on Facebook, few people embody the essence of this quote better than the website's founder, Mark, normal human, definitely not a lizard person, Zuckerberg. So Zuckerberg and his team of executives essentially have a carte blanche over what is and isn't worthy of censorship on the world's largest social media platform. And as I'm sure we're all aware by now, this has proven a surprisingly tricky task. In an effort to improve how the platform's censorship policies are received, Zuckerberg said recently that as of late, Facebook has sought a more standardized approach to how they handle harmful content. This recent shift in policy has led to the ban of far-right political commentators like Faith Goldy and white nationalist Kevin Goudreau. And more recently, Alex Jones, Laura Loomer, and Milo Yiannopoulos were added to the list of people banned for being quote-unquote dangerous. But far-right users are not the only ones feeling the heat of the Facebook apocalypse. Louis Farrakhan, the American black nationalist and leader of the Nation of Islam, was also banned from the social media site, despite his lofty connections with the members of the Democratic Party. And even black activism pages, whose language Facebook algorithms sometimes identify as being hateful towards white people, have been suffering similar fates. After pressuring social media companies to clamp down on hate speech for so long, black activists are now calling on Facebook executives to go just a little easier on them when identifying hateful content. Take, for example, a story from a couple weeks ago on April 24. A black teacher and activist from California was temporarily banned from Facebook for posting, "White men are so fragile, and the mere presence of a black person challenges every single thing in them." Within 15 minutes of posting this, Facebook's algorithm had deleted the post and threatened to ban the poster from the platform for 72 hours. We also have my favorite, Didi Delgado, a black liberation organizer, joining the calls for special treatment from social media companies. So Delgado was banned after a 2017 post that read, "All white people are racist, start from this reference point or you've already failed." She has since written an article entitled "Mark Zuckerberg Hates Black People," while serving 2 simultaneous Facebook bans for hate speech, and boy, what a read that was. So in response to incidents like this, activists are resorting to using emojis, hashtags, and digital slang like white people to elude Facebook's computer algorithms and content moderator, a tactic which, somewhat ironically, conservative and far-right groups have been using for years. So in response, a number of civil rights organizations are reaching out directly to Congress and the Federal Trade Commission to step in and regulate Facebook. These organizations and other black activists claim Facebook's heavy-handed approach on hate speech is actually punishing black people for using language which they characterize as speaking to racism. Look, the problem is this. An algorithm identifies hate speech based on a set of parameters. I hate insert broad generalizable group here, and they are insert broad generalization, is classified as offensive to any group that you address it to. Facebook is simply applying the same rules towards, in this case, black activists and their use of language as they are to, for example, white supremacists who spew garbage online about minorities. Look, with terrorist groups using social media as a recruiting platform, foreign interference in election, the spreads of fake news, I understand the calls to enforce some kind of standard online. But sorry to break it to you, a person who is black is just as capable of using and spreading hateful language online as anyone else. And ignoring this fact only allows bad actors to infiltrate legitimate causes. Take, for example, BLM Toronto co-founder Yusra Kogali and her past proclamations regarding white people and their subhumanity. Many who may otherwise have supported the group's cause have been pushed away from the BLM Toronto chapter as a result of this individual's divisive and, to be honest, gross rhetoric. Look, encouraging, condoning, or even passively accepting dislike towards any broad group of people because of some inherent trait, for example, disliking men because they are men or black people for being black, is wrong no matter who is doing it. And unfortunately, algorithms cannot detect context or sarcasm, or like the activists say, when someone is speaking to power. So rather than focusing on which race or gender should be granted the exclusive power to spew hate or argue for special treatment from the likes of Facebook, as these activists appear to be doing, why don't we review what is considered hateful speech and then just agree to hold each other to the same standard?